All right, hey, what's going on, Freedomers? We're going to talk about how to know if your parents are successful. So I put success in quotes here because success, that's for me how I say it. It's like an appearance. It's not really real. It's just physical, quote unquote, success and real success. When your parents are successful, quote unquote, they're first name orientated. That means that they're about the ego, about self, and they're about making self look good as much as possible. So you have to do what it takes for self to be good. Real success, you're last name orientated. So you're about, like I said, the second point here, legacy orientated. You're about what are you going to own, the third point, meaning what are you going to be 40, 50 years from now? Is your career going to last 40, 50 years from now? They're about getting on the trends and, getting on the now. They're more in the now. They're not in the past. They're not 10 years from now. They're more today. What can you do that's going to capitalize on today, 20, 30, 40 years from now when we're dead? And you're dead. When you're a success, quote unquote, you're lifetime driven, and what that means is they only care about success in the lifetime of they only care about success in the lifetime of a moment or a couple years, and making themselves feel good at the moment. And again, this is how to know your parents are successful. When your parents are successful, they have a possessive drive. When they're only quote unquote successful, they have a possessive drive, and that means they want ownership of you. They only care for the fact that you make their first name look good again. They are only lifetime oriented, so they're about, oh, you went to college, you got this degree, you got all this fancy stuff that only makes when they tell their neighbor, that makes them feel good. When your family is really successful, they're ownership driven, meaning they're trying to focus on what do you own, what do you have in this life, what can you possess that you can pass on to me, or I can learn from you, or you can pass to your babies, you can pass to your cousins, you can put your cousins on, you can put your family on. They're ownership driven. It's like, okay, you have this career in acting, but what do you want to own now that you're a famous actor or whatever, whatever you are? When your parents are successful, quote unquote, they only invest when they're interested or when they can benefit. Yeah, that speaks for itself. They only invest when they're interested or when they can benefit from it, or when they can be a beneficiary of it. When they have real success, you invest because it is your duty, your obligation, and your responsibility. Why? For your child to be successful. Why? Because you have my last name. So I have to make sure you're successful. I'll be in your ass. I'll be your accountability partner. I'll invest in you. I'll do the long nights because it's my obligation for my legacy to live on. You must be successful. You have to be somebody. When your parents are quote unquote successful, they're only supportive. They're supportive only when shit hits the fan. They're not. And the opposite is that they're emotionally supportive, and in other ways, when through the wins and through the losses, they're only success. They're only supportive when shit hits the fan. That's the only time they'll be successful. They'll only be supportive. They're supportive no matter what, whether you're winning or you're losing. When your parents are somewhat successful, they are always low key competing, or they're shadowing. E.g., or example, you're following in my footsteps, bragging about you follow my drive. They're bragging about you taking on something that's similar to them. But when your parents have real success, they're okay with you doing what they're not doing, and if you do take on what they do, they'll show you the way. They'll show you a pathway. They'll show you how to get over obstacles. They'll do what the next one is. They'll put you in positions. They'll do whatever it takes to make sure you're getting a head start. But the next point is they'll allow, if not force you to start from the bottom, because they want you to come to feel like you're in their shadow and you did what they did, and they have all this false pride. But when you really successful, you want them to get a head start to say, how can I push you 50 steps ahead of the competition, and more importantly, avoid all the shit that I did. So that's how you know the core differences. That's how you know the core differences between a parent who's successful and real success.